Hello students, welcome to lecture number 6, asymptotic notations. In the last lectures, we have seen how to find out the time complexity of an algorithm through step count method as well as operation count method. Followed by we have seen some examples how to measure the space complexity of an algorithm. Okay? So in the current class, we are going to understand how to measure the algorithm performance in terms of worst cases, average cases as well as best cases. Okay? So in this lecture, you are going to be understand the relationship among the worst, best and average cases and how you are measuring the performance of every algorithm. Okay? Now, so this is going to be your unit 1 syllabus notation which defines the average cases. Okay? So in addition to these 3 cases, we are going to have 2 more extra concepts notations are going to be little omega as well as little big O. Okay. So the main outcome of this lecture is you are going to be understand various notations to measure the performance of an algorithm, and the main outcome of this lecture is you are going to be have a capability to understand the relationship among worst, best as well as average cases. Okay. Now try to focus on how to understand the big O and how to understand the omega and how to understand the theta. The remaining these 2 notations will going to be very easy if you understand the first 3 notations. Okay? Now, so as I said previously, so you are going to be have mainly 3 cases to measure the performance of an algorithm: worst case, best case as well as average cases. Okay? Now, so now you are going to be have mainly 3 things. Worst case, second one is best case, and third one is average case. Okay? So the worst case can be denoted by big O, or it is also called as capital O. Okay? And the best case will be denoted by omega. Okay? And the average case will be denoted by theta. Okay? So there are mainly 3 cases or 3 main notations. Okay? So capital O or big O which defines the worst case, the omega which defines best case, and theta which defines average cases. Okay? Now let us understand why these 3 main cases are available to measure the performance of an algorithm. For example, I am having an array with 4 memory locations. The elements are like this. Okay? Now I just want to perform a linear search operation, right? So array is available. So the size of the array is 4. Now I am going to be have a key value. So the key is having value which is 5. Okay? So what is the main theme of linear search? So you are going to be verify whether this key element is available in the n size array or not. Okay? So what is the key value you are having? 5, right? So to trace all these elements which are available in the n size array, you require a for loop. Okay? Now you try to observe, if you get the result in my first iteration of the for loop, now I can consider that is going to be my best case. Okay? So what happens if I get the result at the middle of my iteration? Ultimately I can consider it as average case. Now what happens if I found my result at the last iteration of my for loop? Then I can consider it as a worst case. Or what happens if the key element is not found in my n size array? Ultimately that is also going to be considered as a worst case. Why? Because when can you say the key is not found? After tracing all the elements which are available in the array. Okay? So if you found the result at my first iteration, that is going to be the best case. If you found the result at middle of the iteration, then you can consider it as a average case. If you found the result at last iteration, or if you not found the key element after tracing all the iteration, then you can consider it as a worst case. Okay? Now we try to focus on how the cases are going to be used to measure the performance of an algorithm. Okay? So as I said previously, total you are going to have 3 cases: worst case, best case, as well as average cases. So if you found the result at after performing maximum number of steps of execution of your algorithm based on the particular parameter, you can consider this as a worst case. Okay. So if you found the result at minimum number of steps, then you can consider it as a best case. So or if you are finding the result at middle of iteration, okay, or it depends upon the parameter instance, then I can consider this as a average case. Okay, that is the main theme behind the 3 important cases, which are going to be the worst case, average case, as well as best cases. So based on the number of times your instructions are executing to get the result, so based on this principle only, I can have a capability to measure the performance of an algorithm. Okay. Now let us understand big O notation first of all. So what is the big O notation? This defines worst case, right? Now you try to understand how the algorithm is going to be performing in worst case with simple one example. Okay. So let us have a definition on big O notation. So what this definition is telling, there are 2 functions named as f and g, okay, and these 2 functions are positive functions. So if you apply the big O notation among these 2 functions f and g, ultimately the equation is going to be f of n, which is equal to big O of g of n. Okay. So there are 2 functions, f of n as well as g of n. Now I am going to be applying my big O notation among these 2 functions to identify the relationship among these 2 functions. Okay. Now my relation is going to be, after applying the big O notation among f of n and g of n, is going to be f of n less than or equal to c into g of n. Okay. So what this relation is telling, after applying big O notation among f of n as well as g of n is having higher value than f of n, or you can say that g of n is having upper bound value than f of n. Okay, so f of n is having lower value than g of n. So you can say these many ways. Okay, so f of n less than or equal to c into g of n, the relation which tells g of n is having higher value than f of n, then only you can say that f of n as well as g of n both are in a relationship with big O. Okay, such that your target is to find out c value as well as n value. So based on the c value as well as n value, you can able to have a capability to prove this relation. Okay, let us discuss one example. Okay, so definition is saying is, it is purely a theoretical thing. Now we need to apply this theoretical concept to one example for better understanding. Okay. Now this is my example. So what is example? They given 3n equal to big O of g of n. So what is, by giving this example, you try to apply this example on this equation f of n equal to big O of g of n. Okay. So by comparing this given example with your equation f of n equal to g of n, ultimately you can have a capability to understand the equation for f of n as well as the equation for g of n. So by comparing this given example with this equation, ultimately f of n is going to be 3n plus 2. Okay, this is one, and g of n is going to be n. Okay. Now I can say that f of n, which is going to be less than or equal to c into g of n, with this relation you are going to be find out whether this f of n 3n plus 2 is having a relationship with big O of n with g of n. Okay. Now you try to submit f of n value as well as g of n value in this equation, in this relation. So ultimately your equation will be converted as 3n plus 2 less than or equal to c into, what is the g of n value? N. Now your target is to find out what is the c value and what is the n value to satisfy this relation. Now can I take c value directly, or can I take c value as a 1? Can I take c value as a 2? Can I take C value as a 3? Can I take like this randomly? Not possible, right? So, there is a logic behind for taking the C value. Okay. If you observe here, what is the highest power of f of n? If you observe here, 3n plus 2, which is going to be less than or equal to C into n, right? By comparing f of n and g of n, what is the highest power among these f of n and g of n? 3n is the highest power which is having at f of n function. Okay. So, this is going to be a linear relationship, right? Why? Because here you are having n. So, by comparing this highest power at f of n as well as g of n, you can say that f of n is having highest power with a multiple of 3 number of times. Okay. So, based on this comparison between the power of f of n and g of n, you try to take C value. So, do not take C value as a 1 as well as a 2 directly. So, by comparing the power among f of n as well as g of n, you try to take C value as 3. Okay. Now, we try to observe how the equation is going to be becomes. Okay. So, if you take C value as a 3, ultimately my equation is going to be becomes 3n plus 2 less than or equal to 3 into n. Why? Because C value I have taken as 3. Okay. Now, we try to find out, yes, I got C value as a 3. Now, we try to find out what is the n value. Okay. Now, if you take n value equal to 1, ultimately you try to submit n equal to 1 in this relation. So, which gives 3 into 1, 3 plus 2 which is 5 less than or equal to 3 into 1 which is 3. So, ultimately this relation is going to be fails. So, this is the case. Okay. So, now so if n equal to 1 is not satisfying, that is why I am taking n equal to 2. So, if you take n equal to 2, so ultimately this relation is going to be becomes 3 into 2 which is 6, 6 plus 2 is 8 less than or equal to, so 3 into 2 which is going to be 6, again this relation is going to be fails. Now, you can ask one doubt like why this relation is going to be not satisfying for all the n values which are starting from 1 to and so on. Okay. So, why this relation is not satisfying is, if you observe very carefully, the relation is going to be like this. If C equal to 3, 3n plus 2 less than or equal to 3 into n. So, by comparing f of n as well as g of n, both functions are having equal power 3n. But if you observe very carefully, f of n is having 2 constant value extra. So, because of this extra constant value, f of n is always going to be have a higher value than g of n. Okay. So, your target is to prove g of n is having higher value than f of n. F of n must have lower value compared to the g of n. So, because of this 2 extra constant at f of n, my g of n is going to be gets failed. My entire relation is going to be gets failed. That is why you try to take C equal to 4 for the next iteration. Okay. So, do not take C equal to 4 directly. Why? Because you need to prove C equal to 3 is going to be failed in all these cases for every n value. So, after proving this C equal to 3 is going to be failed in all cases, then only you go for C equal to 4. If C equal to 4 is failed, then you go for C equal to 5. So, likewise you need to trace the parameters of C and n linearly. Okay. So, if you consider C value equal to 4, ultimately my relation is going to be becomes 3n plus 2 less than or equal to 4 into n. Now, you try to take to satisfy this equation and you try to find out what is the n value. Now, you try to take n value equal to 2. If you take n value equal to 2, you try to submit n value equal to 2 in this relation. So, 3 into 2 which is going to be 6, 6 plus 2 which is 8 less than or equal to 4 into 2, 8. So, you will get an equation 8 less than or equal to 8. Now, my relation is starts satisfying at C equal to 4 and n equal to 2. Okay. Now, you try to take n value equal to 3. Again, you will get the values 11 less than or equal to 12. Again, my equation is starts satisfying. So, if your relation is starts satisfying at one n value, for the next n value onwards, the equation will going to be satisfies like this. Okay. So, based on this discussion, you just tell me what is the C value to satisfy this relation for this example, which is going to be 4. Now, what is the n value you need to have? You are going to be have an n value at n equal to 2. So, this relation will not going to be satisfied at n equal to 1, but it starts satisfying at n equal to 2 onwards. That is why you will get equal values. F of n as well as g of n both have met at each other. So, after having that equal value, the f of the g of n is going to be growing very high compared to the f of n. So, therefore, I can say that my equation or my given example 3n plus 2 less than or equal to 4 into n. Why? Because C value starts satisfying at 4 onwards for all n greater than or equal to 2. Okay, at n equal to 1 it is failing. From next n value onwards, my relation is going to be starts satisfying. Right. So, this is the way you are going to be finding the C value as well as n value with the help of the notations to measure the performance of your algorithm. Okay. Now, if you observe the graph among f of n as well as g of n, by comparing the relationship between f of n and g of n, if you observe the C into g of n is growing rapidly by compared to the f of n. So, by this graph you can understand that g of n is having upper value by compared to the f of n. Then only you can say that the f of n is going to be having a relationship with big O of g of n. Okay. Now, let us observe the second example. So, in the second example, the given f of n value as 3n plus 3 and g of n value as only n. Okay. Now, try to submit f of n value as well as g of n in a relation of big O, f of n less than or equal to c into g of n. So, after submitting f of n value as well as g of n value, your equation is going to be becomes 3n plus 3 less than or equal to c into n. Now, your target is to find out c value as well as n value. Now, can I take c value equal to 1? Can I take c value equal to 2? Not possible, right? Why? Because if you observe the powers of f of n as well as g of n, so the f of n is having a highest power which is 3 into n. So, that is why you need to take, to satisfy the relation, you need to take the c value from 3 onwards. Do not take c value linearly. Okay. Now, if I take c value as a 3, my relation is going to be becomes like this. Okay, this is not going to be satisfied at any n value, right? Why? Because if you observe f of n equation as well as g of n equation, f of n is having 3 extra constant value. So, that is why f of n is always going to be wins than g of n, that is going to be that is not going to be a relation with big O of n. So, big O of n is saying g of n is having higher value than f of n. Okay. So, this equation will not going to be satisfied for every n value. So, that is why you need to take c value as 4. So, if you take c value as 4, my equation is going to be becomes 3n plus 3 less than or equal to 4n. Okay. Why? Because c value is 4 now. Now, I am going to be starts tracing this relation to get the n value to prove this relation. Okay. So, if n equal to 1, my relation is not satisfying. For n equal to 2 also, my relation is not satisfying. Okay. So, if you observe at n equal to 3, so my relation is going to be becomes 12 less than or equal to 12. So, my relation starts satisfying from n equal to 3 onwards. Now, based on this discussion, I can say that my relation of this example with big O will start satisfying at c equal to 4 as well as n equal to 3 onwards. Okay. So, therefore, 3n plus 2 less than or equal to 4 into n will start satisfying at c equal to 4 as well as n equal to 3 onwards. Now, we will have discussion on the assignment. So, this is the assignment I am going to be given to you. So, this assignment is having 2 questions. You try to observe what is the power of f of n as well as g of n. F of n is having higher power, right? 100 into n. So, you try to take c value from 100 onwards. If 100 is not satisfying, then go for 101. If 101 is not satisfying, then go for 102, like that. Okay. Now, coming to the second problem, if you observe here linear is there with 4 into n, here quadratic is there, right, 10 into n square. So, among quadratic and linear, which one is having highest power? Quadratic only. So, take c value from 10 onwards. If c equal to 10 is not satisfying, take c value equal to 11. Okay. Now, by with these problems, you try to find out the C value as well as N value with the relation with big O only. Okay. Now, so you try to observe this problem. These type of problems you will going to be get in your campus placement online exams. So, what is f of n value they given? 3n plus 3. What is the g of n value they given? G of n is constant. It doesn't having any power. Okay. So, these type of relations will not going to be satisfied because constants can be neglected. So, these type of problems you will going to be get in campus interviews to confuse you. Okay. So, try to aware about these problems also. Okay. So, if there is a constant at f of n as well as g of n, ultimately it is not possible to apply our notations. Why? Because constants are negligible. Okay. Now, so the main verdict among this big O notation is if two functions f of n as well as g of n is having a relation with big O, then the g of n must have upper bound or higher value than f of n, or you can say that f of n must have lower value than g of n for all n values. Now, we are going to have discussion on omega. Okay, it is simply reverse of your worst case. Okay, why? Because omega is denotes about best cases. Okay, so like big O, here also I am going to be taking two functions f of n, f of function f as well as function g. So both are positive functions, and these two functions are having a relation with omega such that f of n is going to be relation with omega with g of n. Okay. So, to prove this f of n as well as g of n, f of n must have higher value than g of n. In the big O statement is telling that g of n must have higher value. The omega is telling that f of n is having higher value than g of n. Why? Because it is reverse of your worst case. Omega is a reverse of your worst case. Okay. Why? Because omega defines best case. Okay, to measure the performance of an algorithm. Okay. So, by proving this equation, the relation is among f of n as well as g of n is going to be f of n greater than or equal to c into g of n. So, by using this relation, you can say that f of n must have higher value than g of n for all n values. Okay. Now, for better understanding, we try to understand the example. So, here what is the example? The given 3n plus 2 is equal to omega of n, right. So, what is the f of n value? 3n plus 2. What is the g of n value? N. So, now my relation is going to be becomes 3n plus 2 greater than or equal to c into n. Now, can I take c value equal to 1? Yes, you can take c value equal to 1. Why? Because if you take c value equal to 1, ultimately this equation starts satisfying. But you should not take c value equal to 1. Why? Because you need to prove as well as you need to show these two functions must have equal power. Then only you can say that your equation is going to be starts satisfying. Okay. So, you can take c value equal to 1. Why? Because here if you observe, if you take c equal to 1, my relation is going to be becomes 3n plus 2 greater than or equal to c value as 1 I am taking into n, right. So, if you observe very carefully, f of n is having higher value. Why? Because at g of n you are having only the linear power which is n, but here that linear power is multiplied by 3 number of times plus 2 constant also. Okay, if you take c value equal to 1, this equation starts satisfying, but do not take c value equal to 1. You need to prove this f of n equation as well as g of n equation must have same power. Now, try to take c equal to 3 onwards. Okay. So, if you take c equal to 3, this is my analysis, right. So, if you take c equal to 1, ultimately your equation is starts satisfying for every n values, but do not take this approach. This approach is wrong. You need to prove both f of n as well as g of n must have equal power. Okay. For better understanding only I am giving this one. Okay. So, try to take c value equal to 3. So, ultimately your equation starts satisfying from n equal to 1 onwards. So, therefore, 3n plus 2 greater than or equal to 3n for every n value. Okay. It is simply reverse of your worst case, nothing but big O. Okay. Now, observe the graph as well as the relationship among f of n and g of n omega. Okay. So, after applying this omega notation on f of n as well as g of n, the graph f of n is having upper bound value by compared to the c into g of n. Okay, so g of n is having lower bound by compared to the f of n. F of n is starts growing after having relationship at particular n value. So then only you can say my f of n is having a relationship with omega of g of n. Okay. So you try to take this question and try to find out what is the c value as well as n value. So if you observe here, to prove this equation, can I take c equal to 1? Yes, you can take, but it is going to be the wrong approach. Okay. So how to take the c value? By comparing the f of n power as well as g of n power. So if you observe f of n as well as g of n equations, g of f of n is having highest power with quadratic with a constant value 10. So that's why I take c equal to c value from 10 onwards. So ultimately it starts satisfying. Why? Because if you observe here 10 square, here also if you take c value equal to 1, 10 square will be available. But in addition to this f of n as well as g of n, f of n is having extra equation with f4n plus 2. So this equation will start satisfying at c equal to 10 for every n value. Okay. Now the final verdict of your omega notation is going to be, if two functions are having relationship with f of n and g of n, ultimately the f of n value must have upper bound value by compared to the g of n. Okay, that is the way you are going to measure the performance of an algorithm if it is producing the result in best case. Okay. Now have discussion with theta. Theta defines average case, right? So what is meant by average case? It is nothing but in between best case as well as worst case. Then only you can say the average case. Why? Because in average case you are getting the results at the middle of the iteration. Okay, so that's why this relation is having in between best case as well as worst cases. So you need to take both relations. So what is the relation of big O? F of n less than or equal to c into g of n. What is the relation of omega? F of n greater than or equal to c into g of n. So to get the relationship of this theta, you try to combine big O notation as well as omega notation, so that you can have a capability to find out two constants c1 as well as c2 for every n value. So the definition is saying that, so f of n as well as g of n are both two positive functions such that these two functions are having a relation with theta. So then my relation is going to be, my relation between f of n and g of n is going to be like this. Okay. So if you observe carefully, this part f of n less than or equal to c2 into g of n, which tells worst case nothing but big O notation, and this part defines omega nothing but best case. By combining these two relations, you will get theta notation. Okay, to understand theta notation, definitely you must have knowledge on big O as well as omega. Then only you can understand the theta. But you try to remember one thing: you can take c1, c2 values differently, but you must have same n value. Okay, you can take these two values same or different, that is not a matter, but you must have or you must prove these two relations must have same n value. Then only you can say that theta is having relation in between best case as well as worst cases. Okay. Now you try to understand one example based on this discussion. So here I am taking an example. Okay, my f of n is 3n plus 2 and g of n equal to n. Okay. Now you try to apply these two relations separately to get the c1, c2 as well as n values. Okay. So if you apply this relation, ultimately you can get c1 value as a 3 and c2 value as a 4. But you need to prove that n must be equal to, n must be same for each and every, for all cases. Okay. So if you observe this equation very carefully, this equation starts satisfying at n equal to 1 onwards, but I am taking n equal to 2 onwards. Why you are taking n equal to 2 instead of n equal to 1? Why? Because you need to show both cases must have satisfying at same n value. That's why I am taking n equal to 2 onwards. You can take n equal to 1 if you consider this equation separately. But if you are showing the relationship among best case as well as worst cases, you need to consider n must be equal in both cases. Okay. So therefore, my C1 value equal to 3 and C2 value equal to 4 and n equal to 2. Such that I can say that my given example 3n less than or equal to 3n plus 2 less than or equal to 4 into n for every n value from n equal to 2 onwards. Okay. Now, so this is the graph. So the graph which is showing the relationship among the f of n as well as C1 into g of n as well as C2 into g of n. So if you observe here, this f of n is going to be the worst case, average case. Why? Because by comparing f of n as well as C2 into g of n, C2 into g of n is growing rapidly or having upper bound value than f of n. Now you can consider these two functions as worst case. Now by comparing f of n with C1 into g of n, f of n is having higher value than C1 into g of n. So you can consider this case as best case. So this is going to be your worst case. So that's why the f of n is in between these two functions C1 into g of n as well as C2 into g of n. Now I can say that f of n is my average case. Okay. So then only you can conclude that f of n is having a relationship with theta of g of n. Okay. Now you try to observe the main verdict. So theta notation is more precise than big O as well as omega. Why? Because it is showing the results, or it is producing the result at middle of the iteration. That's why it is more precise than big O as well as omega. Why? Because this theta is having relationship with both relations of big O as well as your omega, right? So that's why. So the statement f of n as well as equal to theta of g of n saying that g of n must have both lower value as well as upper value than your f of n. Okay, if you observe the previous statements, either f of n is having a higher value or g of n is having higher value. But if you observe very carefully, this is showing the relationship between big O as well as your omega. So that's why the g of n function must have both lower value as well as upper value than your f of n. So then only you can conclude that this relation is having a theta notation. Okay. Now let us go discussion about the last two notations, which is going to be little o as well as little omega. So first of all, we will discuss about little o. So little o will be denoted by small o. Okay. Now let us have a discussion. So the relation which is saying that whenever these two positive functions f of n and g of n is having a relation with little o, then you can say that the limit n tends to infinity, f of n by g of n equal to 0. If this relation is equal to 0, then only you can say that these two functions f of n as well as g of n is having a relation with little o. That is the main theme behind this discussion. So let us discuss one example. So here I am taking an example, f of n equal to 3n plus 2 and g of n equal to n square. Now you try to submit f of n value as well as g of n value in this equation. Okay. So limit n tends to infinity. What is the f of n value? 3n plus 2. What is the g of n value? N square. What is the common among numerator and denominator? N, right? So this is going to be limit n tends to infinity. If you take n as common, so this is going to be 3 plus 2 by n square. Okay, so this square as well as n will going to be gets cancelled. So ultimately you will get an equation limit n tends to infinity 1 by n of 3 plus 2 by n. So what happens if you submit infinity in n? So in the limits and continuity there is one formula. If limit n tends to infinity of 1 by n, then ultimately you will get a value which is 0. So why you are getting 0? You try to submit infinity at n. So 1 by infinity, what is the value of 1 by infinity? That is going to be becomes 0. So 0 into this entire equation is going to be becomes 0. So if you are getting the result as 0, ultimately I can say that my f of n as well as g of n is having a relation with little o. Okay. Now let us observe the problem analysis. So here 1 by n is there. So try to submit n equal to infinity. So 1 by infinity value is 0. So 0 into 3 plus 2 by n will going to be becomes 0. So if your result is 0, ultimately I can say that my 3n plus 2 as well as g of n value which is n square is having a relationship with little o. Now coming to the last notation, which is going to be the little omega. You try the little omega is a reverse approach of little o. You try to reverse these two numerator as well as denominator. So the equation is going to be becomes limit n tends to infinity g of n by f of n. Okay, f of n by g of n tells little o, g of n by f of n tells little omega. Okay, so if here also if the result is 0, ultimately you can say that these two functions f of n as well as g of n is having a relationship with little omega. Now we try to understand one example. So here what is the example they given? F of n equal to n cube as well as g of n equal to 6 n square plus 18. You try to submit this f of n as well as g of n values in this equation. If you get the result as 0, ultimately this relation is correct. The f of n as well as in terms of f of n as well as g of n. Now try to submit f of n equation as well as g of n equation in this. So my equation is going to be limit n tends to infinity. What is the g of n value? 6n square plus 18 by n cube. Okay, so now you can take n square as a common at numerator as well as denominator. So limit n tends to infinity, this numerator is going to be becomes, if I take n square as a common, 6 plus 18 by n square by n cube. So ultimately n square as well as here numerator n square will going to be gets cancelled, and if you cancel n square among n cube, 1 n will be available. Now this can be written as limit n tends to infinity 1 by n into 6 plus 18 by n square. So now ultimately like previous example, you can consider n value as infinity. So the value for 1 by infinity is going to be becomes 0. So 0 into this entire equation is going to be becomes 0. So if you get the result as 0, ultimately you can say this f of n as well as g of n is having a relation with little omega. Okay. So this is the result. Now therefore I can say that n cube which is having a relation with little omega of my g of n, which is going to be 6n square plus 18. Okay. So as of now we have seen the main 5 notations. Among 5 notations, first three are very very important, which is big O, okay, big omega as well as theta, and the relations are f of n less than or equal to g of n. So in this relation, g of n must have higher value. So in the second relation, f of n must have higher value, but in the third relation, f of n as well as g of n can grow parallelly or equally. Okay, same rate, at a same rate they can grow. Okay. So this is the graphical representation among the relationship between best case, worst case as well as average cases. Okay. Now you try to observe this relation. Okay. So this relation is telling the power compatibility among various powers of your equation. Okay. So among all the powers, order of log n is smaller than order of n. So order of n is smaller than order of n log n. Okay. So by comparing order of log n as well as n log n, which one is having least value? Log n only. Why? Because n log n is higher than log n. Okay. So by comparing these 3 parameters with order of n square is higher value. So order of n square is lesser than order of n cube. So among all these parameters, the expansion 2 power n is higher than all the remaining parameters. So try to remember these relations. Okay. Now, so if two functions f of n and g of n is having relation with big O, ultimately f of n cannot grow faster than g of n. Nothing but g of n must have higher value than f of n. Now coming to the omega, f of n grows faster than g of n. Okay. Now coming to the theta, f of n grows same rate with your g of n. Why? Because in theta we are having a relationship with best cases as well as worst cases, nothing but big O as well as omega, right? Now as of now we have seen all the 5 notations which are nothing but big O, omega, theta, little big O as well as little omega. Followed by we have seen some mathematical examples to prove how the relations are satisfying at particular n value as well as particular c value, and we have seen practical complexity order also among the power of your equations. Okay? Thank you. That's the end of the class.